Boker Tov, everyone. Good to be with you this morning. Let us begin with a blessing of gratitude for this day. Moda or Moda Ani. Before you, living and enduring sovereign, for you have mercifully restored my soul within me. Great is your faithfulness. We are in our final week of counting the Omer, counting the days toward the holiday of Shavuot, who will receive the Torah. We have gone on so much of our journey already. So let us say the blessing for this day. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sefirata Omer. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who sanctifies us with mitzvot and commands us concerning the counting of the Omer. Hayom chamisha v'arba'im yom, shehem shisha shavuot, u'shlosha yamim la'omer. Today is 45 days, which is 6 weeks and 3 days of the Omer. Before we go into some text that I brought in for this morning, I want to welcome all of you who are here. It is time for Rabbi Romper Room. So Don and Tina, it is lovely to see you this morning. Michelle and Jay, Boker Tov. Tom and Hannah, so good to see both of you. Diane and George and Riva, Boker Tov, great to see you. Elliot and Susan, Pat and Sarah, Barbara and Andrea, and everyone else who is here who I can't see, but I just want to let you know how grateful I am that we could be in sacred community as we continue our journey, marking all of these days, building up the excitement for the holiday of Shavuot that is coming on Sunday night with our absolutely incredible teens who will be leading us with their powerful words of figuring out what it means to be Jewish, to have a Jewish identity, to take on the yoke of the Torah. But for today, I'd like us to turn to the words of Rabbi David Even Marcus, who spoke about, there's a midrash of receiving the Torah where God held Mount Sinai over the heads of the Israelites and said, accept the Torah, as a kind of threat in a way, like this is what you absolutely have to do. And he takes that and kind of transforms it into this poem that I think is really important. There's always some mountain over our heads. Here, ragged granite thrusts skyward from our desert sands. There, petrochemicals punch holes in the ozone layer. Piles of unpaid bills, discarded masks, bullet casings, scribbled pleas to many to squeeze among stones. Please heal an ailing pet, a lonely heart, a fissured nation. The mountains tower above, casting below no less a cool shadow than an eternal wing shading a soul feathery and free. Tectonic forces of here and hereafter, precariously balanced. Who knows what next headline or puff of noontime breeze might shake the ground and reveal the heights hiding in plain sight, awesome and high, shining darkly, solid and trembling. Our personal complaints, too, they pile up like ragged ranges, occluding our horizons. The earth below buckles under the weight. At first, we recoil. We look but don't touch. We see but blindly. Yet one way or the other, the awesome on high will have its way. Look with soft eyes we reserved for love and prophets. And we might well find ourselves in our mountain overhead, awesome and high, shining darkly, solid and trembling. We might know, in tender places kept for loves and prophets, that even if some mountain could crush us under the heap of trouble we made, our mountain yet stands, glowing, speaking. Spread over us again and again the canopy of recommitment, wooing us home, hoping that we will do and we will hear. This poem struck me with its power as I read it. And perhaps today it strikes even more. The past few days, reading headlines of everything going on in Israel. I recently read a blog post by a colleague of mine who lives in Jerusalem of what the experiences are there right now, worried about bombs overhead, hearing news of too many lives taken, too many lives threatened, too much hatred in the streets. That there are challenges, really big ones. It can feel like there's a mountain over our heads. And yet, and I'll bring in her words later this week, but she talks about how in the midst of all of this hatred that's been going on in Israel, there's been very little talk about responsibility. And I think that that's where this poem goes, is that we can be burdened by the challenges of life, by the overwhelming needs within our world and within our lives. And how can we respond to them? How can we recommit ourselves to take on the responsibility? After all, Shavuot is a holiday of embracing the Torah, of embracing the commandments, these things that might sometimes be difficult to keep, and yet we have a responsibility too, and we take that on. The very last line, when it says, hoping that we will do and we will hear, well, the Torah says that the people accepted the commandments and said, we will do and we will hear before they ever really heard them. As a way of saying, yeah, we're going to do what's right. We're going to commit ourselves no matter what it takes. And so the hope here is that we also, that people in the state of Israel, that we as human beings can take on the responsibilities, however difficult it must be, in order to create a world that's more healed, in order to take away some of the burdens that are felt by too many. There's this really powerful quote that I came across by David Brooks, who said, recovering from suffering is not like recovering from a disease. Many people don't come out healed, they come out different. And I think that this is a really important quote as well, because even looking over this past year, looking over everything that's happened with COVID, yes, it's a disease, but there's been a lot of suffering in this past year. And we can't just come out healed and everything is all better, right? We come out different. We come out changed. This experience changes us perhaps in ways that we're not even fully aware of right now. But I hope that we can reflect on those and we can allow ourselves to change for the better, to be more compassionate, to be more understanding, to be more appreciative of those who put their lives on the line all the time. There are so many potential things that perhaps we learned from this year, and reflecting on our question yesterday, perhaps several of these and others have come out for you. But perhaps it's not a bad thing that we come out different, as long as we strive to come out a little more open, a little bit more compassionate. Today, I leave you with a question about how are you feeling about arriving at this new moment in time, well into our journey, both with COVID and the Omer. How are you feeling about where you are right now? As we do each day, we will end with a Mishabarach prayer, a prayer for healing. And this Mishabarach prayer is a prayer for all of us who are in need of healing of mind, healing of body, and healing of spirit. It's for all of us, all of the people who we love, all the people throughout the world. It's for all those who are suffering in Gaza, in Israel, and throughout the Middle East. It's a prayer for everyone and anyone who needs it. And I invite you to join with me in singing Lisa Levine's Mishabarach. Mishabarach Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Mishabarach Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Bless us with the vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Mishabarach Avotenu, Mishabarach Yemotenu. Hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. I hope everyone has a truly wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow as we continue our journey through the Omer.